Suraj Singh, Namaskar to all. Regarding talk on safety, health and environment, very current issue for all. It's not safety for one, it's not safety for two, it's safety for all. Everyone should remain safe. This is requirement of society, requirement of science, requirement of engineering, and on top, requirement of life. No safe means no life, and if you are safe means life. Everywhere it applies, everywhere. Whatever you are doing, wherever you are, you have to be safe, and if you are safe, you can enjoy life. If you are not safe, you cannot enjoy life. It's not well defined, you have to take its meaning yourself. In some disciplines, it is defined. For example, in construction discipline, it is defined. In driving discipline, it is defined. Wherever you have authority to do something, there it is defined. You shall say how it is defined. My answer is, for example, in driving, you have to take license. What does it mean? You say it's simply license and I'm authorized to drive. No, it's not simply license. It's a certification that you have learned everything about driving. That is your bad luck if you don't learn it. If you just take by malpractice this license tells everybody that you know ins and out of driving safely, keeping yourself safe and keeping others safe. That is most important. It's not simply driving, it is driving under control, driving under full mandate of your mind and your soul, keeping others safe, because you have no right to kill someone else or cause injury to someone else, because everybody has a right to live as you have right to live. You cannot divide someone of size even if you are ignorant. Ignorant is also not applicable when you are in public. When you are driving, you are in road, this means you are in public. If you are working somewhere among all, you are in public. Wherever you are alone, you can say that this is your right to kill yourself. But when you are not alone, you are among others, you have not the right to kill someone else, as well as you have no right to kill yourself. So safety. Health and environment. If you are safe, you shall remain healthy, and if you are healthy, you shall be in good environment of your own imagination. Environment, internal environment, as well as sort of surrounding environment. That is very important. That you will feel pleased, you will feel happy. You'll say, "Oh, I am living, I am luxurious," or "I feel I'm not luxurious, I am happy." Just like happiness or happy has no definition in a well-defined manner, similarly safety has no definition in a well-defined manner. It is under control. You have to keep under control, and that is method statement, that is procedure, that is, you can say, explanation of how to keep yourself safe within certain limitations. That is called safety. Safety doesn't mean any sword or any gun or something like that. It is your own calculation how you can save, how can you say that this person is safe under my supervision, or how I am safe. It is simple, very simple. You for example, I give this example many times. You want to go upstairs on steps. You take one step, you take two step, you take third step, like that. And you expect that these steps height should be equal. Tread distance should be equal. You expect that. If suppose there is 2 centimeter difference in riser in each other, or they are varying steps risers, shall you be able to combat that? You will fall, or you will just get a shock why it is different. It happens because when you rise on something, you don't check what centimeter leg I have taken up. You just feel that yes, it's okay, and third one is fourth one. This means riser means vertical distance of step should be equal in all steps. And if it's not equal, it gives you a chance to come down or to fall. This I'm saying, this is just an example. And if you feel that, oh, there's something wrong, my step is not taking root, then you just come back. You just take back. This means you try to, and you anticipated that there's something wrong, you withdraw from that step, and that is called you took preventive measure from that near accident state, and that is called near miss, and that is called safety. It's just an example. You are driving at a speed of 100 kilometers on a busy road or on a highway, and you say, oh, there's a light, and you just could not apply brakes. Either jump or right, and you jump on a red light, and you may cause accident. You could not see something from long distance. You could not see from distance. Oh, there is a fog. Or you're driving fast. There's a rain. You're driving fast. You don't even care of water, stagnation there on the road. You're driving, and your tires splash all this flooded water onto others. Is that right? That's not right. Because this water particle can spoil the other person's shirt or pant and can enter his eyes even. This is all part of care taking. You have to take care. You have to keep yourself safe, and you have to keep someone else also safe. That is purpose of their driving license. It is not simply that you can drive. You have to drive within safety, and that is called law of rule of road. You have to drive safely. Similarly, there are rules in every disciplines which demand application of safety standards with quality. Safety standards under quality means safety is also under quality. This is what I am telling you is quality. There are two types of training in driving. For example, when I took training, it was for lowest speed, or you can say zero like speed, and highest speed also, both ways. They say that you have to learn both ways because controlled driving is very difficult. Driving at 5 kilometer, 2 kilometer, 3 kilometer like zero, you can say very slow in rush road. You have to take care of your car ahead and behind. Both you have to take care. You have to take care of people besides the other lane. That is very important. Car driving doesn't mean drive, just steering and apply brakes and accelerate. No, that is not car driving, that is mechanism. You know mechanism, but you have to cover your safety along with others' safety. That is called driving. That is called driving to keep yourself safe and keep others safe. Just like you say, let and let live, let others live. Live and let live. We say live and let live. Just you can say drive and let others drive. That's important. Means don't drive offensively, drive safely, defensively. Defensively means you have to defend yourself first, and you have to defend other driver then. That is called defensive driving. I get that you may understand this. Maybe I'm giving an example. It can be there can be hundreds of examples. If you just count them in every part, any walk of life, it may be driving, it may be in your home, it may be outside home, when you're walking on road, when you're sitting somewhere, when you're doing some job, you're thinking, you're walking on a track of, you're just having mobile and walking on road and talking busy on mobile. All these come to questions of safety, which people often ignore. I have seen examples when you're just walking on a track and there's a train coming behind, and your your ears are behind cars, and you could not even listen. Train is coming, and accident happens. So this all that safety issue which you did not bother about, which you are supposed to be, so careful of that. You're not. So I am now talking about safety in construction, safety in real estate, safety in buildings, safety in works and everywhere, safety in factory, and safety in workshops, and safety elsewhere. That is called safety, health and environment, because these are three very important factors, and we use energies everywhere 24 hours 7, and these energies belong to you and generated from your inside and outside. This continuous flow of energy is yours for your supply. It's just like there's a water supply in your home tape system, plumbing system, and when you put this clock on, open it, you get water into your bucket or elsewhere, and then when you close it, water doesn't come in. Same thing is like this energy. You are taking food, you are drinking water, you are taking so many other items. These give you energy, and this energy is body. This energy is also outside your body. Keep continuing entering your body and coming out, and you have to use this energy for everyday purpose. And level of this energy, quantum of this energy keeps on varying every minute, every hour. These are not constant anytime. Sometimes you feel drowsy, you feel sleepy, and sometimes you feel very active. You want to walk and jump and all this juggling in morning. This all that energy keeps on changing, varying at all moments. It is when you're thinking too much, and too much in deep thoughts, your energy is working multitude. And when you are not able to think, oh, I'm tired, I was stressed and this and that, then this is in different mode. That is also a part of understanding, and this is called ergonomics. How you should use energy in the best possible way. That is science of ergonomics, engineering of ergonomics. Ergonomics means ergo means unit of energy. How to best use your energy, just like how to best use your funds. It's same thing. Energy, your fund, free fund, and you are using that into your life. And what, where, how much you should use, and when you should take rest. These are all calculable, and you can devise yourself. No need of some consultation of book, and no need of some guru for that. You have to know yourself. If you're just busy in your material life, married life, you generate children, you lose all your energy, of course. But when you don't do that, you preserve your energy. It's up to you to preserve your energy, to use for work, use for mind, use for creation, or waste it just like people waste it. That is your prerogative to decide. No one can interfere into that. But it is your money, it is your value. Like money, it is because money cannot buy energy, but energy can get you money by hard working. You may say just barking, just speaking for no relations and nothing. Yes, you may say that. You are absolutely right, because I'm just trying to serve you, trying to pass some information to you. If you are able to receive that information, even without telling me, at least you use it for your betterment, for your future, for your work, for your assignments. If you are successful, it is fine, because without this, you cannot be successful. So is safety, health and environment. Safety keeping gives you good health, maintains your good health, and if there's no safety means there is some danger to your health, and then even to your environment. Because if you are not happy, you don't feel happy, you feel tired all the time, have fatigue all the time, and I'm not able to walk, I'm not able to, I just want to take rest, and you keep taking rest for hours and hours and hours. This way you waste your time. You cannot, your mind shall become lazy because it's not very active for hours and hours and hours. Mind should be active. Maybe you have to get up every 2 hours, 3 hours, just for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, just to pass your line, and it just reactivates again. So we have to be careful that just continuation of taking rest is not good for your environment. To an extent, I understand. I'm not claiming that. No need of claiming something. That's what I have to say regarding safety. Safety is for all, safety is for one, safety everyone. One who is occupied in profession, whatever profession, consultation profession or engineering construction profession, as I had been in engineering construction profession, I was very concerned about safety, because you used to fear if you're working somewhere, you're using hundreds of employee workers with you, and you are not concerned about the safety, and some of them fall and die, or some accident happen, bones are broken, and you are worried about that. That's why you have to be worried, because you are responsible for those people working with you. You are an engineer there, you're top of that, you're a manager there, you're whatever MD there. It's your responsibility to take work from people and let them be happy in their health and wealth. Wealth, they are not rich people, they have land, some inherited land, and people used to sell that. Yes, yeah, the question is, it is there, and we have to understand safety is very important point of view, and I explained to you many chapters of that in last talks. And these last talks were, first of all, I have to tell you that how many considerations I was making in that. A list is there which I've then post on this, and this list says that which topics are there. 50 to 60 or to consider 70% of funds every year is spent on development works, and these funds are generally related to construction work, construction of roads, construction of railway tracks, construction of buildings, construction of dams, water resources, and construction of many other use of public. Use of public funds go there, and who's involved there? Machines are involved there, resources are involved there, people are involved there, everyone is involved there. So all those must have been, they must be maintaining safety, because that is for every nation. It's not for ours, I'm talking, it's for all world. That funds must be used, we can say 0.15% to 1% must be used for safety, because safety doesn't require a lot of funds, it just requires attention. It requires, you can say, you have to concentrate on each and every activity so that people don't die, because people are expensive. You have no right to kill people because of your negligence of supervision or negligence of your work. No method says that one should die, or your method should lead to killing of those people. No, it's not. I'm just using word killing because ignorance means killing others. Just take, if you are careful, if supervisor of one worker is careful, there can be no accidents. But accidents happen, machines break, and people fall, and so happens. Despite taking care of that, it happens. Communication lag is there, minimum communication is there. You have no interaction with those people. You are a big boss and you don't talk to them. And this type of thinking brings a distance from both guys, lowest guys, highest guys, and that interaction misses. And when there are people working with different of languages, many languages are there, many nationalities are there, then communication becomes a problem, and that can cause accidents, that cause lack of safety, which we have to understand. Even if there is no question of language, communication is difficult sometimes. So you cannot be present all time with those workers, and they have to depend upon themselves, and you have no direct communication with those people. Some supervisor is in between, a foreman in between, or someone else is in between, and you don't even have sometimes time to check them, and you cannot check each and everything of construction. For example, there may be 2,000 props or 1,000 props or scaffolding. You cannot check every part of that. There will be some rust on that, or whatever implication is there. Any one loose can bring many loses like that. So we have many types of the engineering, construction, and other fields we have. It may be whatever, and then we can say what kind of safety policy should be decided first. What policy you are going to use for company, that is mandate. Then management, what type of management is there? We have to see that into our consideration. There's a simple management is the best one, and if you keep complicated hierarchy, that shall not work, because when there are many people, many intelligent people, you cannot decide this. Everybody has got difference of opinion, and it's not good. And site security is very important. After the hand tools are there of everyone, the first aid regulation is very important, because this is first, so you can say, relaxation to an injured person. Then goes to permit to work, which depends upon where location of your project is, and depending on regulations of that, it has to be applied with. Then housekeeping, everywhere housekeeping is maybe where you're building, it is a room, it is whatever type, means you have to keep it safe and free from any impact of fire or some thermal effect. Then safety training, you have to give everyone an emergency and evacuation plans, and then fire protection, and there's a PPE, and then after so excavation safety, which is very, very important. Excavation involved, everywhere is involved, in all structures involved. Then control, storage, and use of hazardous materials, incident reporting, lifting, rigging, and hoisting, and radiography operations, night working, and scaffolds and ladders, and temporary electrical supply, and welding and costing, and working at heights, and fall prevention, abrasive wheels, and construction environment control, hazards controls, and the confined space entry, road safety and vehicles operations, and reward systems, and compressed gas cylinders, which is very, very, can say, people don't care about that, and that leads to explosion. Cylinder can become a bomb also at one time, and we abuse its use. The people just sometimes enrolling the cylinder, keeping on land, which is a very dangerous situation where this liquefied gas can come out and explode. So inside temperature is minus and very cold, outside temperature is positive one, and it can explode that time by being kindled, and heat stress is there, safety, practices and disciplinary enforcements of the safe work and inspections and audit requirements and plant facility project construction sketches, etc., and organization chart. These are points that shall be covered in this talk gradually. And let's now say that we were talking about last time. It was regarding I'll say chapter 9, it was, I'm sure, and we're talking about emergency and evacuation. Yes, we're talking about emergency and evacuation, scope, purpose, definition, responsibilities, instructions, references, and adjustments. I've gone through all that. The scope was defined. Scope, the statements to deal with certain situations, what type of emergencies exposed during project's constituency or thereafter as well. Finance safety scope pertinent to this statement, and this is to avoid the impact of whatever possible emergency on personnel, and if avoidable is not possible, shall try limit gravity of such impact on personal, property, and environment. And what it says is avoid impact of whatever possible emergency. That's what you have to do on personal, and if avoidance is not possible, shall try limit that gravity of such impact and to increase and effectively maintain organizational framework that provides a rapid and economic response to an emergency made situation. It means organizational framework very important. Hierarchy is very important. What person was right man for right, and where it is not. Where to see that top person is right or not right, bottom person right or not right, middle one or the line management. All that we have to consider. Just like management subject, that the person is there, he knows something or doesn't know something, or is dedicated to or is not dedicated, is only for part or not for full. All these require consideration when you are designing your project in professional way. It's all part of design as well. Cannot so simply design a structure. With safety design is safety team management, the programming or planning of that. So you have to spend money on that, and budget has to say you got this money, and you don't have money, cannot do that. You have to provide a list of actions for effects during to provide a list of actions for effects during emergency with given clear instructions for relevant proposed actions. Assign and authorize personnel responsible for specific emergency actions as listed along with provided emergency telephone numbers, and provide communications channels essential for coordinating actions required to deal with emergency both within projects and externally in conjunction with appropriate emergency services. That's provide relevant information and procedures to apply in response to different engineering and energy emergency situations such as health outbreak of disease, and medical accidents, just broken limb and cuts and abrasions, etc. Then fire break out in offices or in sites or in process plant areas, which is very common. Fire break out in process plant area, which is very complicated chemical area with fumes contains these chemicals, and this invisible one fly depending on direction of wind flow, and this can cause due to heat of sun, some temperature, some other source can light up like that and cause fire. Enclosed space problems, tank collapse, and toxic gas emissions, etc. The failure of concrete structures following collapse, failure of scaffolding, and collapse of booms of heavy equipment, civil unrest strikes and force majeure, floods, natural calamities, war, etc., regional political conflicts, national international response. That's the once again means this is whoever says this just for information, because maybe you cannot clearly understand one go. So scope is sub-scope. The scope was that the scope of statement regarding this to deal with certain situations of whatever type of emergencies exposed during project currency and thereafter as well. And following lines, the sub scope pertinent to this statement, which possibly could not be could be equipped while dealing with defined remaining situation. There's some of that sub-scope is that this was just the scope of sub-scope, a little detailed one, as I just now told you before, just to repeat it. Avoid impact of whatever possible emergency on personal, and if avoidance is not possible, shall try to minimize that. That's very important. That may be property or maybe personal or maybe use environment, and to increase and effectively maintain an organizational framework, which is very important, means an organizational framework where there's a collective team responsible to spread over organization chart, and you have to do coordinated responsibility, coordinate actions as construction people and other people, and so that people understand, and information must go to lowest one, which is requirement of management, and the people should know where they can expect fire or they can expect something else which stops them going home. Then increase and effectively maintain organizational framework. Okay, then provide a list of actions for effects during emergency with given clear instructions for relevant purpose those actions. So list of actions to effect during emergency. You have to keep ready with you whenever there's some kind of emergency break on. You can take care of that activity, and this is very important because this is supervised by senior people like you and must be known to all. And you cannot go on site and say, "Sir, I don't know this, and give me this, and then what to do then." So you just ask this treatment to cancer. They shall not be happy with you. They say you are just bothering for nothing. You are selling not for some other purpose, and that course you have to do it. So to assign and authorize personnel responsible for coordinating actions required to deal with emergency both within project and externally in conjunction with appropriate emergency services, and to provide relevant information and procedures to apply in response to different emergencies situations such as health. One health outbreak of disease is related to health and medical accidents with broken limbs and cuts and abrasions, whatever else. And fire break out in offices or in site or in process plant areas is all possibilities. And many closed space problems with trench collapse and toxic gas emissions, etc. And failure of concrete structures following collapse, failure of scaffolding, and collapse of booms of heavy equipment, and civil unrest is political one, and force majeure, which is floods and natural and calamity, etc. Now that is this force majeure I just told you, and then regional political conflicts, the national or international impacts. These were criteria, this is information you should know about that. And this one must reach you before fire or after fire, whatever case maybe. We cannot say that my fire I have done and routine I have taken, so I should go somewhere else just to pass remaining time. That is not applicable here because we don't have that much time when we are busy when we are work. So the precise document on emergency response shall be recovered by site document control and posted on safety notice board. Maintain a routine dialogue with emergency services. Keep all project personnel and operating involved agencies updated of development and site with regard to status of on-site potential hazards. Then a purposes comes in. Just a minute, yes. What's purpose? Plan to advance the relevant details for possible site emergency and evacuation plans for all personnel assigned to project, which shall be used as a training guide to ensure that employees are fully aware of sharing respective responsibilities which are required to be effected during breakout or imposition of an emergency situation. Then all such plans and details shall be charted out on documents from commencement of mobilization onwards to completion of entire project or approval and circulation. Such plans shall be required in both cases, not in simply one case, both cases. And okay, all such plans and details shall be charted out on documents from commencement of mobilization onwards to completion of entire project for approval and circulation. Such plans shall be required in both cases when either brownfield or greenfield projects are under construction, and I am sure you people understand what are brownfield and what are greenfield projects. And maybe if you don't know about this, I just brief in one sentence that brownfield projects means when the project is, you can say, started on already existing one. For example, one story was finished, remaining two floors are there. You have to build them. If you don't have enough, you'll give your money back sometimes. Maybe when you don't take it, you'll say your formal approval. There's a time of 2 years in that, but then 2 years starts from date of that day when he was appointed somewhere as a judge that time. But now just for such plans shall be required in both cases when either brownfields or greenfield. The greenfield is when this is a completely new job in brownfields, upgradation of existing project. This is a brown one is upgradation, whereas green one is starting from scratch. Just for information, brownfields means when existing project is upgraded to new project, new requirements, while greenfield means a project taking off from scratch. Brownfield projects are very common. Initially, this plan concentrates on effects of emergencies occurring in an existing operating plant and would respond to emergencies imposing oil and petrochemical plants, but shall also cover emergencies on construction camp and project site. As work progresses, approved plans shall be reviewed to incorporate possible imposition of emergencies arising on a new plant or construction site. Now, what is EPC contractor? And then there are some other terms which maybe you know very well, just question of resurfacing, repeating that so that refresh you all may be tired and use the capacity at night. These need to just go and sleep and say, oh, I'm sleeping. Don't give it up. It's like that. You see, when we are called foreigners and we behave that way, you come and see how we behave like this, you will know of the failure. So EPC contractor counts out cross personal working within adjacent operational facilities or easement areas shall be made aware to conform to facilities emerging procedures. Assembly point direction, signs and wind socks shall be installed at different locations such as indicated below. Site office can be a location, administration building area or camp common room or camp mess hall or site fabrication shop can be places to be opted out for that purpose. Others accountability of personnel. Personnel should be accountable, they are accountable. You cannot say just remove some engineer who is responsible for that. Your voice is different. That's not a way to attack situation. Then there's accountability of personnel. A swipe card system to install and print out be used to check head counts. In event of power failure, head counts shall be conducted using daily daily reports provided by contractors and its subcontractors. The night shift by contractor and its subcontractors, and then say night shift supervisor If it's applicable and virtually feasible, security personnel shall maintain a head count of personnel working during night shift. For personnel working outside perimeter fence under plant easement permit, under plant easement permit, a list shall be kept on security that for personnel working outside perimeter fence under plant easement permit, a list shall be kept in security gatehouse with established protocol for making communications. The supervision shall have either a radio or a mobile telephone kept on site all times. Visitors will be there to site accompanied by appear scores, correct? Then visitors to site shall be accompanied by approved escorts all times. Management on site, whether subcontractors, contractor, engineer, or project owner, shall ensure that approving level of supervisor supervision are assigned as escorts to visit various vendors to site. One should brief on response in event of imposition of whatever type of an emergency. On some security-related projects, score-specific training is imparted to qualified personnel upon the successful calculation and on ordinary. Well, then say now let's go some definitions. It's a very important, and it's a piece of contract. This is regarding emergency issue. Is an unplanned, unforeseen event which results or may result in injury or to people, damage to property and environment. The responsible manager or its deputy or site manager is deputy shall assess possibility of scale of an emergency impossible during construction phase of project work. Minor emergencies, emergency situation causing no danger to life, risk to environment or property, but beyond capacity of 100% moral comfort. Say serious emergency. Emergency situation causing danger to life, risk, environment, or property, which is within capability of contractors, organization, and equipment to control and handle, but adequate resources to should be planned. Major emergency. When emergency situation goes beyond capability of project organization and available equipment to control requires assistance from relevant government agencies and other external resources. Emergency control centers should be established in different locations during working hours or if demands mobilization site. Conference room can be used as control center. Camp emergencies can be tackled by using camp administration office as control center. Note list of persons that are assigned designated members with an initial response team of emergency control center must be notified with their contact numbers. The information team is been uh, An information team comprising site managers to be constituted to gather information regarding emergency play characters, you can say, info- sorry, information team comprising site managers to be constituted to gather information regarding emergency consequences, polyphonically or otherwise, by sending a reporter to scene of incident and then relaying salient information to project owner, contractors, emergency services, and authorities. Definition regarding certain terms. I'm just reminding this. Safety means safety, health, and environment disciplines to support project activities. Company means an organization carrying out rule security project. Contractor means organization that has one project from and client and say contractor means client means organization and title company in contractual terms that has some trusted project organization. Contractor, subcontractor means organization that has one part of project work from contract organization. And personal means all personnel involved in project site activities. And responsibility means job and contract responsibility. The training means training imparted for specific safety topic on job and on project site. And management means organization, top, middle, and lower management or line management. Safety manager means person, job title, safe manager deployed by certain organizations. And project manager means a person as a whole who could not. Right. So you can say responsibility means job and contract responsibility, and personal means all personnel involved on project site activities. Training means training imparted to imparted to management means an organization, top, middle, and lowest managers. Right. Let's say project manager means a person as such with designation PM title deployed by contractors. Engineer means a person in contract approved by client, the client's company for an oral project responsibility. General responsibility. Now, what is general responsibility? You know all that, but you know that's sometime in defined manner or a renewal course. Simply count how many pages are there. Don't worry about that. You write something, you write something. Project manager responsible for all obligations to provide schedule, all resources, direction, engineering, solutions. Manager site responsible for overall site prosecution management of works and subcontractors and site site safety officer responsible for all safety management on site and report to project manager, site manager, corporate safety manager. Then construction manager responsible for all arrange all safety within 20 meters. Then construction manager responsible to arrange all safety-related resources and provide site team all requirements, and project site engineer responsible to carry out safety issues within section. Section is here we are talking in section. We are talking down in section. So we are going here. No problem. And then project site engineer responsible to carry out safety issues within section. The site safety inspector and engineer responsible to supervise safety measures on site or pesticides get get get- okay. Site foreman responsible for compliance of safety measures, its standards as on across. Right. So to individual one is an individual working on a site responsible on maintain safety measures in case missing should be to terms attention. Thus the responsibility others are the responsibilities. Other responsibilities could be say site manager or his designate during absence from site has an overall responsibility during emergencies to direct relevant staff to adopt all necessary measures to prevent whatever possible emergency imposed within act of responsibility or act. Direct relevant staff to adopt all necessary measures to prevent whatever possible emergency imposed upon within the area of responsibility by limiting it to as well as to others help us areas. Then can say major duties and responsibilities shall be direct staff of emergency control center, then issue when appropriate area evacuation order to all personnel on site, issue emergency clearance alert after consulting emergency control center, then coordinate closely with engineer site manager during emergency, ensure firefighting and evacuation training imparted to project personnel when appropriate, advise project and corporate management about effects and future course of action, act as a contact person, spokesman, coordinator for other organizations involved during emergency aid. And our HSE manager is posted on site to look after site acts, means responsible for overall coordination of emergency plan, and my major duties are as follows. Proceed immediately to scene of emergency to assess the situation and project findings, provide it back to site manager and assist site manager in directing emergency team for relevant actions, interact with fires and safety depending on. Okay. Then assist site manager directing emergencies team for relevant actions, interact with fires and interact with fire and safety the department ensuring all field information is made available to management. Ensure that all equipment personnel are available who are required on such master plan. Alright, sometimes you feel very boring with this kind of subject, which brings different You can say assist site manager in directing emergency team and interact with fire and safety department, ensuring all field information available to management, prepare emergency and evacuation plans for implementation by site manager, ensure that all equipment and personnel are available who are required on such transfer, master plan, master and we can say plan and conduct training and drills for firefighting, rescue and evacuation, then evacuation and then compatible with master plan. There's a plan and conduct training and drills for firefighting, rescue and evacuation plans and ensure that these are compatible with master plan. And all plans must be reviewed on a regular basis, maybe a couple of weeks or a couple of months to ensure cover for all site activities. And let's say for project personnel. All personnel must report all incidents or accidents immediately to respective supervisor or respective safety officer. All personnel must respond promptly to an emergency situation, respond directly to muster point or to appropriate transportation. Okay, transportation points, location, and emergency. And how shall you go to offices and everyone? There's no transportation. There may be two, three persons. Home people watching television. You should have a third person. ऐसा दो के बाद में तुम्हारी Hmm. So, now go to the first one. This is it takes some time to read. That's sometimes it takes time. Project supervision. Yes. Supervisors are responsible for safety and well-being of personnel in respective charge, shall take action necessary to minimize or eliminate hazards and to evacuate personnel from risk areas when immediate evacuation is required. Contractor safety representative what shall do? Contractors, safety representatives are responsible on hearing site alarms to informing respective management on site that to ensure that personnel under respective controls are mustered and head counted. Must be done without fail. Now, administrative managers. It's not very big, but we consider in our country as big boss. This is big boss is still versus uh, administration manager shall be responsible for fine ruling. They try to fine. Well, yesterday, right. Then administration manager shall have authority to call emergency services in event of fire breakout, following which shall contact site HSE manager. Who should take advice? Who should advise key personnel and key personnel? You know who they are very well. There is Ashok somewhere. Ashok somewhere. Ashok today. He has last done 1,000 acts. He has already done. Uh, case something else. Administration national authority will say administration manager is responsible 24 hours ensuring our coverage in camp office to answer emergency calls. Security officers should be on continual surveillance. Such security is must trained in firefighting and no locations for wardens, fire wardens, and officers in camp. Administration manages to have authority to call emergency services in event of fire breakdown, following which shall submit a complete site as a HSE manager or who should advise key person. Okay, then administration manager shall have authority to call emergency services in event of fire breakout, following which shall contact site HSA manager who shall advise key personnel regarding a safety relief, shall report to camp administration office and assume charge of one. Uh, let's say the roles and responsibilities. The specifically shall report to camp administration office and assume charge as directed by site management. Its roles and responsibilities shall include as described below. Direct to camp emergency response team, ensure that preparations are made to evacuate personnel from their homes. Transportation has been arranged for evacuation purpose, and report back to site emergency control room about camp status, and make arrangements for preparation of accommodation for temporary hospitalization and treatment to injured personnel in liaison with first aid, clinic doctor, nurse or a nurse. Make arrangements of operation of communication as a solely for temporary hospitalization and then direct to companies camp security for controlling vehicular movement may be necessary to prevent vehicle traffic from traveling to site. Ensure that security are aware of an emergency situation. Instructions. Of course, it is very boring but essential. That is important. Engineering itself is boring but essential. Emergency procedures. All contractors and subcontractors mobilized within boundaries of contract controlled site shall be formally made aware of possible evacuation procedures and what their responsibility shall be in event of an emergency. Site emergency response. In event of a serious incident occurring on site, following generally described guidelines shall be observed. Decisions shall be made depending on severity of event by site management to establish an emergency control room based on site conditions. Mm. Based on site. So, in event of serious incident occurring on site, following generally described guidelines shall be observed. Decisions shall be made depending on severity of event by site management to establish an emergency control room based in site office conference room. Contractor shall alert, site management shall alert subcontractor site managers or their deputies by telephone about emergency that could impact their rates of work. A decision shall also be made whether or not it is necessary to contract local government departments about incident as such. For example, a case of fatal accidents. Fatal accidents. The turn shall alert the various foremen by telephone with instruction and emergency alert raise alarm. The foreman Foreman shall then proceed immediately to designate areas on site where personnel under respective controls are working. Vehicles horns to be on and vehicle indicate hazard warning lights flashing. May say vehicles should horn, don't stop, just to inform something's happening. Loud hailer. Loud hailer speaker can say a loud hailer speaker shall be provided to designate area supervisors and kept on site offices. Ensure that workers are made aware of emergency situation and during temporary absence from work location. Area supervisors shall notify foremen, general foremen, etc. location and prescribed use of loud hailer. Sites within shall alert workforce to leave their places of work but first switch off all equipment and then muster at prescribed assembly points or places. So they shall then inform emergency control center number of personnel mustered. Security shall advise emergency control center CEC, emergency control center ECC of number of personnel on site based on swipe card system. Site management shall make a decision as to whether or not a total evacuation is required. Location of final evacuation point shall be determined. Uh, Accountable. Now say site management shall make a decision as to whether or not total evacuation is required. Location of final evacuation point shall be determined by nature of emergency aspects such as wind direction. Accountability of person. Swipe card system shall be installed and print out used to check, compare head counts. Also head counts shall be compared to daily report. Visitors to site visitors shall be given a temporary site. Yeah, temporary site. Right. Then accounted personnel is swipe classes to install and print out use check compare head counts. Also head count shall be compared to daily reports. Visitors to site shall be given a temporary pass and accompanied all times whilst present on site. And if necessary, construction office building may serve as an assembly area or and one large building in camp area to serve as other assembly area communications, and this shall be conducted using mobile phones or radios or can also be provided following allocation of wave bands. And then fires. A person discovering a fire shall raise verbally alarm by informing personnel in area who should immediately evacuate area. Supervisor shall contact emergency control center in camp or HSE manager on site. Now, this is a different paragraph. This cognitive thinks that this paragraph will solve problems. But they don't know problems can't be solved like this. Such serious problems where life and money is involved. How can he simply postpone for weeks and to just then ask these poor guys who don't know resources, how shall they maintain these kinds of states? So it's very, very, very unbecoming, you can say, So fire alert is there. Just to explain then, control center in camp on HSC manager on site. Initial attempts shall be made to put out fire with available extinguishers used to fire water main as long as there is no risk to person concerned. Being informed, HSC manager of designate shall attend incident location and on becoming informed, control center and camp on HSC manager on site. Initial attempt shall be made to put out fire with able extinguishers. And on being informed, HSC manager designate shall attend incident location and when fire cannot be extinguished shall call local fire service stations. Description of location and extent of fire and caller's name, company and telephone number and arrangement shall then be made by HSC department to meet responding local fine services per person by personal act elected. No. On the information, the manager designated shall attend an incident location and when fire cannot be extinguished shall call local fire service station, a station designated location and access the fire and caller's name, company and telephone numbers. Arrangements shall then be made by HSC department to get to meet responsive local fire service personally at camp or inside. Okay. Arrangements shall be made by HSC department to meet responding local fire service personnel at camp or site entrance as appropriate. Availability of a water tanker shall be arranged a must, if considered necessary for fighting purpose. Camp or site management representatives shall be requested to attain incident of at local and location and extremely similar. Then camp or site management shall be requested to attain incident location and examine safety. And site manager shall then assess situation, find determination, and passport. Their site manager shall then assess the situation and define some other measures such as area allocation information. So, okay, right. Then fire and emergency action instruction notices shall be posted on job site and medical emergencies are there, which is very, very important now. Medical emergencies, other than medical emergencies, and major injury, illness or multiple injuries occurring on job site in office, facility or camp following actions shall be carried out with major injury or illness. Major injury or illness, personal and vicinity shall immediately what shall they do? There's a question one, and what shall they do? Advise supervision in area of camp administration, camp situations, of location of incident, extent of injuries, description of such symptoms, nature of emergency or incidents, name and company of all name company and all other rejected. Well, there is no means people. Nobody is called rejected because the person is still in their life and again. How can you say that? Nature of emergency or incident and then name and company of all injured parties. Supervision and camp administration shall then advise Jesse. This is uninformed HSC manager who is shall proceed with contractors or camp medical staff to incident appraise situation and shall request assistance from nearest hospital. If so required, shall advise manager, a site manager, giving details of emergency, location, type of accident, including symptoms and extent of injuries. Then name of injured persons and caller's name and telephone number. Arrangements shall then be made by HSC department to meet responding paramedics, crew, and ambulance at camp or site entrance as appropriate. Camp or site management representative shall request to attend incident at location and assess the severity of incident. Site manager shall then assess situation and determine if some other measures such as informing authorities are necessary. If so, they will do that. Now, what is multiple injuries? Multiple injuries. In event of situation where multiple persons are injured, following actions shall be followed. Site supervision, contractors and subcontractors in area shall, so far as possible, stabilize situation and make as uh, you think all state sites, all state people are very rich. You think so? No. Well, site supervision, contact supervision, subcontinent area shall, so far as possible, stabilize situation, make area safe. HSC department and non and safe. SHE, the HSE, not SHE, HSE, health department, health and HSC department and site doctor and nurses shall attend site, examine victims, and mobilize ambulance available on site. HSC manager shall keep the site managers informed of developing situation and shall make a decision whether or not to send back this professional. Then site manager shall make a decision whether or not to call an emergency and send person to emergency control room. Site management team in attendance at emergency control center shall notify hospital giving details of personal injured, types of types of injuries being treated on a car sharing. Okay. Site management team in attendance of emergency control center shall notify hospital giving details of personal injured, types of injuries being treated on site and emergency transportation arrangements being used, etc. Namely ETA, expected time of arrival of first patient in hospital, depending on number of personnel involved and number of personnel involved. Anyhow, uh, then what will come to outbreak of illness or disease? Outbreak. Hmm. Site managers shall immediately be informed of outbreak of disease or illness in camp and should be responsible for informing employer and doctor at local Department of Preventive Medicine, DOPM, Department of Preventive Medicine. This Department of Preventive Medicine, Department of Physical Preventive Medicine shall respond accordingly to actions. Okay. Then isolation. Isolation. जानते हैं isolation? When an outbreak of a contagious disease is first suspected, HSC manager, site doctor or nurse and administration manager shall identify a location where patients can be admitted, isolated from rest of area. Then subcontractor using camp facilities shall be advised to report such cases of contagious diseases to doctors or yes, yes. Mm. APC contains a doctor and nurses are encouraged to report consistent illness medical cases to enable corporate doctor to practically assess emissions and incident involving adjacent plant if applicable. Oil refineries, petrochemical and chemical plants have been so far recognized. Mhm. Right, right. You may say that I'm losing. No, it's not that. I'm thinking something specifically how to speak and what to speak. So this is a very serious chapter. And the subject safety is more serious than your quality system, and we have to be careful with this. It cannot be taken for granted. Means, you can say if you see contact site, doctor nurses encourage. I already said that. Oil refinery emissions and incidents involving the adjacent plant, if applicable. Oil refineries, petrochemical and chemical plants have their own emergency procedures which include notification to key personnel on project in event of emergency. You have seen what happened in KR. KKC 2 days, 3 days back last week. In addition, there should have been a mutual aid program that we fostered through emergency fire mutual aid committee, which responds during emergency within industrial complex, and these are all called industrial complexes. During emergency, site supervisor, let's say site supervisors can say all that shall notify site managements of situation that has occurred on their respective plants areas. However, employees shall be instructed on hearing an existing plant alarm siren to be aware of either a gas release or an instrument source of will is a widespread danger. Employees shall in turn then turn rise alarm and inform supervisor who can contact site management providing brief details of emergency. On being informed either by existing plant by some other source, HSC supervisor or the manager shall proceed with that or find out. Alright. On being informed, right. You know, so informed either by existing plan by some other source, HSC supervisor or manager shall proceed to threatened area, appraise situation, and and as necessary contact site manager seeking advice or initiate sites evacuation if situation so dictates, using all supervisors and line management available in vicinity. Responsibility of area supervisor is superintendent to ensure contractors in their respective areas are advised. And then being informed of what shall cause cease or shall cease work, about down engines and switch off electrical equipments before proceeding in designated area. Okay. Ah, area supervisor shall also check that their area supervisor shall also check that their areas have been successfully evacuated and workers proceeding to assigned muster points. Site management shall make a decision based on information given, namely muster or total evacuation is required. Handheld loud hailers speakers shall also be provided for each work location to assist in spreading awareness about such an emergency situation. Commissioning and startup. This section shall be addressed at a later stage, okay, with inclusion of emergency response requirements for live plant areas. Transportation. Transportation off-site shall be accommodated through following mechanisms. Each contractor shall be responsible for providing adequate transportation to from site. To and from sites, and buses and pickups shall be kept adjacent to areas where personnel are working for quick removal. Buses parked in camp or may lay down areas shall be mobilized to areas where personnel are working if safe to do so. Camp administration should be responsible for mobilizing buses at camp. Subcontractors shall be required to provide assistance in ensuring that all personnel, including personnel who are not their own employers or employees, and um, and buses parked in camp areas and laid down areas shall be mobilized to areas where personnel are working are safe to do so, and camp administration shall be responsible for mobilizing buses at camp. Subcontractors shall be required to provide assistance in ensuring that all personnel, including personnel who are not their own employees, shall also be rewarded. And I can say camp administration shall be responsible for mobilizing buses at camps. Supporters shall be requested to provide assistance, ensuring that all personnel, including personnel who are not their own employees, are evacuated from area and point of evacuation shall be managed by supervision. In a deactivation of emergency evacuation, site manager shall issue instruction to return to work and ascertain that it's safe to do so. HSE department shall disseminate this instruction of emergency. On that's emergency response team. Deactivation of emergency areas is also site manager's additional instruction written to work. And as certain that it's safe to do so, HSE department shall disseminate this instruction through superintendent subcontract safety officer action and the emergency response team ERT EPC contractor, EPC, EPC contractor shall ensure that emergency response team is available to react quickly and respond suitably to all major incidents or emergencies. The team shall generally comprise of contractor supervisory personnel members or nominated by contractor site management. Each personnel member shall be provided with suitable means of communication for contact purpose. Also, a vehicle to facilitate quick response and travel to scene of incident or emergency or a control point nominated by site manager, HSE manager. And site doctor, nurse, and should be on standby during working hours at site or mobilized work areas as and when required. Should a need arise, they should also be available in camp after working hours and given and can be mobilized quickly to respond to events of emergency. Local local detachment of civil defense, fire, and emergency response. You can say organization is located adjacent site to EPC contractors. You must say that detachment is well managed, trained, and equipped to deal with emergency situation, including fires. Officer in charge of detachment has confirmed that this detachment shall depend. Officer in charge of detachment has confirmed that this detachment shall respond immediately to emergency call from EPC contractors. Officer in charge of the detachment has confirmed that his detachment shall respond immediately to emergency call from his contractor regarding construction site or accommodation camp in 24 hours per day basis. Training and drills. EPC contractor or site management, EPC contractor site manager shall ensure that suitable emergency planning and training is effective to all project personnel. Basic fundamental plan shall be included in safety induction training for new employees. Emergency drills shall be conducted on all regular basis. And you may say that there are certain attachments to that. In key personnel, for example, and emergency numbers are there. The key personnel every year it calls with the emergency center, name and then control, then job title, site manager, area manager, QS safety manager, whatever is written there must be prescribed on that personal chart. Our subtitles are site manager, and you write the mobile numbers of that, and the construction manager, general superintendent, HSE manager, safety supervisor, safety officer, and safety officers, and six, and seven, eight, that's it. Security officer, safety supervisor, security officer, administration manager, camp supervisor, doctor, site manager, contractor, HSC manager, contractor. Let me speak again because the long list, all the big site officer, that's site manager number, construction manager number, list site general superintendent's number, HSA manager number, supervisor number, security officer number, administration manager number, camp supervisor, doctor number, site manager number, you call HSA manager number, and then HSA manager, site manager, subcontractor, for example, their number, then names, also says job, say safety and fundamental. What is this? Is that all key personnel for involved in safety of public must be there available with complete details of at least telephone numbers, mobile numbers. So if you contacted during emergency, the flow chart says this chart doesn't give any hierarchy but functional working with partnership relation during HSC manager reports to corporate safety department but functionally on site reporting to site manager and interacts with construction manager and other staff. And top is plant or refinery, and below that are HSC manager, and same level as site manager and same level engineering site manager, and then comes down there you can see other hierarchies: general superintendent, construction manager, security officer, and administrative manager. And then you come down further and you find subcontractors, site supervisors. And after that, you go to discovery of fire. So you can say that go next one. This was 9. Let's go to let's go to 10. Sign up for the time, no problem. What's this? 10 is regarding, you can say, we can cover this in 5-10 minutes. And this is 10 is about fire protection. Yes, fire protection. Scope, purpose, definition, responsibilities, instructions, references, allegations are same. Then the scope is applied to all facilities, including workshops, offices, temporary accommodations, and construction areas. On projects also applies to all areas. On life camps, requirements should be considered mandatory. Purpose is to highlight possible fire hazards, define precautions and procedures for suppression such fires so that facilities are protected. It is suggested that loss prevention approach should be adopted rather than firefighting approach. Definition again, same project engineer and all the safety, all I have told you, the same thing applies, no need of repeating that. Waste of time, responsibilities are same, and EPC contractor and subcontractors are same. Let's say those about EPC contractor and subcontractor safety supervision procedures. EPC contractor and subcontractor safety supervisors shall ensure following. See, officers and campfire actions. Offices and campfire action notices are posted at the strategic locations. This is to ensure our says EPC contractor and subcontractor safety supervisors shall ensure following. Office and campfire action. Office and campfire action notices are posted at strategic locations, sufficient emergency assembly points, and are set up. Uninformed, uninformed regular practice evacuation drills are performed regularly. Sufficient number of offices and camp staff have been assigned with responsibility to act fire wardens. Officers and camp staff, in particular new personnel, are briefed and kept updated on fire and emergency response procedures, the control of flammable materials used in premises, photocopier fluids, miscellaneous low profile chemicals, and oils, etc., were well in line to define procedures. Provision of lead refuse container for safe disposal of aerosol which have contained flammable materials. Ensuring that a clean desk policy is being adhered to. Clean desk policy materials are not allowed to accumulate at one location, but regular housekeeping, maintenance, and inspections of offices close a business or some other suitable time. Daily inspection of offices to ensure that walkways are kept free without, not without possessions, and real time. Well, ensuring that a clean desk policy is being adhered to, the materials are not allowed to accumulate in one location. The regular housekeeping, maintenance, inspections officers close offices or some other suitable time. Daily inspections officers ensure the walkways are not obstructed, carpet and other fittings are secured, fire doors kept closed, all means of escapes are being well maintained to be tidy. Provisions of metal filling cabinets metal filing cabinets for storing documents, stationery, and other potentially flammable items. Lavish with electrical instrumentation department for inspection, testing, and servicing of fire alarms, smoke detections units, etc. Kitchen areas shall be monitored to ensure that electrical fittings are being turned off after use and do not present any fire hazard. Clear glass doors shall have direction of opening, etc. Push, pull, push, pull, and warning strip placed to prevent personnel running into them. Training to use fire extinguishers shall be given and directions assigned displayed, highlighting emergency procedures. No smoking policy, rules, meetings, and video conferencing rooms. Okay, no smoking policy rules, meetings, and video conferencing rooms. Then common social areas, mess area halls and toilets within camps are inspected before closure for deactivating possible ignition sources following each metal shift and at the end of evening or last shift. Relation with EPC contractor HSE department for regular and its inspection of camp main site office, surrounding areas and all other temporary facilities. And can say again, licensed EPC contractor HSE department for regular audits, inspections of camp main site offices, surrounding areas, and all other temporary facilities job wise. Camp board shall comply with requirements of client informing also. Shall check accommodations areas and ensure that residents are complying with requirements for fire protection procedures specifically. Ensure personnel are informed not to interfere with fire detection devices or systems, and no smoking policy applies in bedroom areas, common room areas, toilet areas, and all other such designated areas. And then ensure that night security guards, regular patrol camp areas, and ensure that fire hasn't broken out, that security lights are operable, are working as to identify all either procedure. Uh, Okay. Ensure that night security guards regular patrol camp areas and ensure that fire has not broken out, that security lights are operable or working as well as to identify all other potentially areas are okay. Ensure that night security, as told you again, ensure that strict design is functional. Ensure that strict design is functional regarding waste removal. I have to check out all this. Ensure that the strict design is functional regarding waste removal, combustible items, especially on a daily basis for more frequently as materials required. No. Ensure that cooking is not undertaken in habitable rooms, which is very dangerous. And rooms are serviced, cleaned, waste and trash removed on a daily basis. Hallways, entrances, and or fire escapes are kept free of obstructing as well as disturbing it. And hallways, entries, and fire escapes are kept free of obstructions as well as cleaned with trash removed on a daily basis. The trash collected from individual rooms must not be left lying in hallways. Following departure of cleaner from individual cabins, immediate removal has to be conducted by cleaner. EPC contractor maintenance manager shall ensure that following control measures are functional. Workshops are maintained in a neat and tidy manner, that waste oil, rags, and other flammable materials are removed, and at end of each shift or as necessary, maintenance personnel are instructed to use fire extinguishers, raising alarm and fire hazard at the maintenance purposes, instructed use fire extinguishers, raising alarm, fire hazards at workplace. Battery recharging shall be conducted in well-ventilated areas with no smoking signs depicted and no fire extinguishers fixed. Areas around pedestals, triangles, and other hot work type activities are kept free of combustibles. Pedestals, grinders, welding, and burning shall be screened and controlled to prevent fire risk and exposure to personnel. That flammable liquids such as gasoline, diesel, etc. are not used for cleaning purposes. Provision of adequate strong areas located in places where exits, passageways and stairways are not adversely affected or obstructed. Flammable liquids are stored safely in neat and tidy manner with adequate safety signs provided. Certain instructions. General. Materials and equipment. Materials and equipment shall be maintained in an orderly manner so as to reduce or prevent possibility of fire spread. Material shall not be stored in a manner that obstructs fire points, sprinkler heads, alarms, emergency exits, electrical panels, and walkways, etc. Materials shall not be stored close to openings so as to avoid concealing both floor openings and hoistways. Consideration shall be given to fire loading imposed in an area by placement of materials. Mm. Consideration Material shall not be stored close to openings so as to avoid concealing both floors, openings, and hoistways. Consideration shall be given to fire loading imposed in an area by placement of materials. Doors provided for emergency escape shall open outwards in direction of walking or forward movement. Equipment shall not be fueled when engine is running. Equipment shall not be fueled when engine is running. Smoking is prohibited whilst refueling activities are ongoing. Incompatible materials shall not be stored in proximity to each other. Then scaffold boards shall be swept and kept free of flammable materials. And cutting and welding stuff was cutting and welding. So I think the last page maybe in this chapter, maybe possibly. Cutting and welding, you stick 2-3 minutes. Cutting and welding shall be controlled by permits. PTW permit to work is necessary during commissioning and startup as well. Tie-ins to existing facilities of whatever required. Particular care shall be taken when carrying out hard work, operations in locations where combustibles metals may be present. This shall include precautions such as inspection of surrounding area, removal of whatever combustible materials, protections by providing fire blanket and provide provision of fire extinguisher. Compressed gas cylinders shall be closed when not in use and well stored, properly secured and kept in an upright position at all times. Protective end caps shall be fitted when being moved or transported unless by 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 cylinder trolleys. Compressed gas cylinder shall be kept clean. Yeah, compressor shall be kept clean of electrical equipment and cabling, cabling mechanism. Mm. Cabling where they become part of electrical circuit. And gas cylinders shall not be taken into confined spaces, feed hoses or nozzles when cylinder is used in confined spaces, such as removed when not in use. And oxygen cylinders shall be kept free of oil and grease. Valve wrenches shall be left in position on valve stem all times when cylinder is in use. Fuel gas and oxygen hoses shall be clearly distinguishable, kept in good condition and secured properly. Oil. Fuel gas and oxygen shall be clearly distinguishable, kept in good conditions and secured properly. Wire is not permitted. Flashback arresters. Flashback arresters must be fitted to both oxygen and fuel gas regulators and manifolds. Fire extinguishers shall be available before hot work commences and persons are trained in their proper use. Don't start hot work until you have fire extinguisher. Oxygen fuel gas cylinders shall be stored at least 6 meters from 6 meters apart. Means oxygen fuel gas cylinders shall be stored at 6 meters apart or separated by a fire resistant wall or 2 centimeter thick steel plate. 2 centimeter thick, no, it's too much. And wood cuttings of cut sawdust. Carpentry shop shall be swept clean daily or most frequently subject to workload. Cuttings of cuts etc. shall be placed immediately in internal bins adjacent to band saws, planing machines, etc. prior to being removed to external collectors. Wood shapes shall be neatly built, stored external sharp by size in racks or similar and raised from grate. Materials kept within shop shall also be stored in rack. Uh, where gone? Yes. Wood shapes shall be nearly built, stored external. Yes. Wood shapes shall be neatly built, stored external shop by size and racks or similar and raised from grate. Materials kept within shop shall also be stored in racks or feeder tables and must not be allowed to cluster floor space adjacent to shop equipment. Safe ingress and egress to and from machines locations must be functional operational at that time. And plywood and steel shutters shall be nearly stacked in raised above ground, row 8 you can say. Then prime consideration shall be given to maintaining access ways for firefighting vehicular equipment. And then garage, fuel, storage, lube, oil charges, etc. Changes. Tools shall be uplifted, areas swept, and oil impregnated waste rags disposed of daily. Maintenance areas where lube, oil changes, etc. All plate performed shall be paved, lean concrete areas suitable for being used down and collected from its hard surface. Project vehicles, including engineers and site, shall be washed down in paved areas to avoid dispersal of hydrocarbons and subsequent fire risk. Storage of fuels and lubricants containments requirements shall be agreed with engineer beforehand. Location of maintenance shop shall be selected considering fuel storage. Safety signs shall be posted in three languages: English, Hindi, etc. Fire extinguishers shall be posted in prominent protected places. Painting activities. Storage of paints and more specifically thinners or solvents shall be strictly controlled. Strictly controlled. Accumulation of waste rags for cleansing or use with solvents shall be prohibited. They shall be collected in fit for purpose containers and thereafter soaked with water prior to disposal. Dispersal. Accumulation of empty containers shall be prohibited should any attempt to use them for fabrication or other purpose not be permitted. Hmm. GRP, pipe butt wrapping material. You know GRP? Yeah, glass reinforced plastic. Yes. Storage of jointing materials shall be strictly controlled. Particular care and attention shall be observed during cutting and fabrication activities to reduce the risk of oxidation. Then these are points that just brief we have explained to you. These are not end points, these are just few points, and we will take up later on other chapters. These are only briefs that we have discussed. It's not end, just precautionary measures these are. But this would help if you just go through them and apply in your power of work. It's gradual, it's not 1 minute job, and it's not 1 year job. From point to point, from activity to activity, it varies. And you have to apply an understanding on this. Means you have to plan it when you do some activity, chart out its procedure or method statement, and in that method statement, we have to take care of safety and quality both. We have to take care of scope, we have to take care of safety, we have to take care of quality, we have to take care of materials, we have to take care of approvals, and we have to take care of real activity on site and then its safety, protection from others. All these are called parts of method in statements or construction method statements, which often are considered overseas but not in our good country. We have to start that practice if you want to be real professionals or we just want to do job without any documentation. This documentation is a pre-agreement between responsible engineer and a contractor that we have to do like this, and that should be implemented with. And if suppose there is a change or there is some agreement, verbal agreement that okay we do not do this way, that must be somewhere in writing or methods could be revised as later. So this is a professional record for future people, or these methods could lead to combination of formation of some book of a technical book, which is different issue. But if we engineer once can do it, my assistant is very easy in this way. Because no more plugging of people, no more held up of people, and that is very very important. If you maintain safety, it's very big subject nowadays because all disciplines, all activities, what serves from ground to highest level of a building, or from small bridge to biggest, you can say multi-layer bridges, and from roads and here highways, and from airports to refineries, onshore and offshore, everywhere it is required. It's very small activity as well as very big activity. Both are there and must be taken care of by professionals like engineers who are nation maker, who are society maker, who are called change agents or agents of change. And engineering can change whole world. Engineering can change standards of living. Engineers can change hell to heaven, in fact, and others can bring heaven to hell. Engineers can change forest to cities, and engineers can change everything if they wish. It's not question of money alone, it's question of lifestyle. Whatever lifestyles is today is because of engineering and other professions, which must be taken care of. A little care shall make you better. A little care shall lengthen your character and your quality of life. If you drive safely, traffic will be easy, roads will be easy. If you have to drive with defensive, not defensive, but offensive mind, I have to drive a rash means life shall become like rash. So it's all that exclusive motto, exclusive objective is just to have patience while working, little patience without rushing to job, will plan it should be. It will give better results and better quantity and better quality than what we expect in jumping, climbing in haphazard way like monkey should be avoided. Engineers have a mind, they are not heart oriented, they are mind oriented. And mind is mind biggest power of this universe. I don't want to use my heart, I want to use my mind. My heart can give energy, but I don't want to take any decision using heart. Your heart decision shall not get benefit to me, it shall just negate everything. So use mind, and mind, God stays in mind, it doesn't stay in heart. Staying God in heart means weak God. If you stay in mind is strong God. So that mind shall force you to adhere to those decisions which are proactive, not against. And we are responsible for self safety, for our workers' safety, and for safety of public and safety of everybody. Wherever we work as professional engineers, as you can say builders, as promoters, as creators, or whatever term you can give to that, doesn't make a difference all over world. You have to be responsible for all accidents during your work, and you'll be responsible for all successes during your work. So don't worry about credit or debit, worry about your self happiness and others happiness. That is more important than talking otherwise. And with this, I would like to just request you guys that change your mind. There is some depression in mind of everybody these days. That depression shall not work, though of course time is not good for economy everywhere these days, but this will not remain permanent. There will be changes, but it will keep coming in, and this is sometimes you can say when there are no projects, you are too busy. This is time to upgrade your knowledge, continue professional development, so that you learn more and more, and you can take out time, learn more in your profession, and get better engineer. You can talk to people in a good way. You can have answers to certain problems which are not available in textbooks or in syllabus. You have to create yourselves your own text and make that as a resource rather than text, because a resource is more important than textbooks. Textbooks are meant only for passing certain examination, whereas resources means book resources, that is lifelong useful document that you have to do yourself and keep and use this after upgradation very frequently, and your generations can use that as well. If you write something somewhere, that shall help you better. If the son don't just listen, that's your choice, but I shall always appreciate if somebody uses that writing other methods for future generation, because you have a literature in your hand. It doesn't matter it's authored or unauthored. It is a knowledge is knowledge. If that knowledge, if that literature works, I respect that, even though there may be no author. Even though some students write thesis, and these theses are so, after having modifications, get number one sometimes. And that is really very appreciable one for us to realize its gravity of situation of seriousness. And until we realize that, we cannot improve our work standards. We can just copy standard. We always refer to, I want to see BS standard, I want to see, forget standards for purpose of your own standards you create. Why you debate upon those obsolete standards which are designed 10 years or 5 years back? Okay, technicalities is one thing, but formula is also one thing. I am talking about this method, which has got no codal arrangement. There are methods we use twice. Method statement, you can say, a style of working, a sequence of working that has got nothing to do with any codes or nothing. This is upon your choice. A contractor is better understandable than an engineer. An engineer can advise contractor, engineer can discuss with that what you want, why you want this logical sequence that must be accepted, because the question is that we have to maintain safety to a maximum extent. Even then there happens accident, we can't avoid sometimes, but attempts should be made to understand safety, to apply safety, which is the safest way for safest activities for safest construction and for keeping healthy and safe society, for sake of society and for sake of living, so that people enjoy life with hard work. So if we work hard and we die, it has got no meaning. If we don't understand, I'm not saying that safety or subject of everybody, but don't think that's not taught to you in your secure school or in colleges. It doesn't make a difference, because your mind is so sharp and powerful after having engineering degrees. A heavy will be in engineering study, or your copy, that is different issue. But once it's assumed that you are a pure engineer, you are a dedicated one, you studied hard, then you must understand this. Life is not simply university, it's not simply textbooks, it's not simply certification. Life is working and delivering. That is the most important. Once you are an engineer, you are expected to prove on every project that you are an engineer. Your certificate shall not be shown there on the wall, but your activities, your actions, your results, your deliveries, your commitments, your dedication, your devotions, all that come into play, your intelligence, your brilliance, and your creative mind, and your, you can say, innovative mind, innovative methods, those are very significant from global point of view, because every nation, every people, every society has different types of understanding. And engineers are genius people. They are considered genius because their designation itself is engineer, which is genius, and they have to prove that they are genius. If I cannot prove I'm genius, I cannot think. Means you have to think and find solutions, better solutions, and then further better solutions. That is called sequence of intellectual work, and that is called intelligence and genius people. And genius people is they should prove they are genius. Simply saying that I am genius is not enough, not sufficient. So with this, thank you very much, gentlemen. I close this, and tomorrow I'll take some, tomorrow day after my time, I'll take some safety issues and more other issues which are current issues. Maybe sometimes I take current issue, or sometimes take safety issues, sometimes take management issues, something depending upon what type of material I have collected and studied and understood. Sometimes I take time to understand that. For that, I seek your apology in that. And thank you, guys, gentlemen. Thanks very much.